Fable 5 replacement just dropped. Fusion AI is insane. When Fable 5 disappeared from public access, one question immediately spread across the AI community. What can replace it? For many users, Fable 5 wasn't just another AI model. It represented a major leap forward in reasoning, deep research, tool usage, and long-horizon problem-solving. Whether you were analyzing complex topics, conducting extensive research, or managing multi-step workflows, Fable 5 consistently stood out from the competition. So when access suddenly vanished following government restrictions, developers, researchers, and AI enthusiasts began searching for an alternative that could deliver similar performance. That's where OpenRouter Fusion enters the picture. Rather than relying on a single AI model, Fusion takes a completely different approach. It sends a prompt to multiple advanced AI models simultaneously. Each model independently researches the topic, reasons through the problem, uses available tools, and generates its own response. Once all responses are complete, a separate judge model evaluates them. It identifies areas of agreement, spots contradictions, uncovers missing information, and highlights unique insights from each model. Finally, it combines the strongest elements into a single, refined answer. Think of it as building a team of AI experts instead of hiring just one. One model may discover a valuable source. Another may catch an error or contradiction. A third may provide a clear explanation or a better framework. Fusion brings all of those perspectives together to produce a stronger final result. To see whether this approach actually works, OpenRouter tested Fusion on Draco, a demanding research benchmark created by Perplexity AI. Draco includes 100 challenging tasks across 10 different domains, including academic research, finance, law, medicine, technology, UX design, product comparisons, personalized assistance, and complex information retrieval. Unlike simple benchmark tests, Draco evaluates the types of tasks people increasingly use frontier AI models for: researching difficult questions, verifying sources, synthesizing information, weighing trade-offs, and producing answers that are both accurate and useful. The results were impressive. As standalone models, Fable 5 achieved a score of 65.3%, GPT 5.5 scored 60%, DeepSeek V4 Pro reached 60.3%, Claude Opus 4.8 scored 58.8%, Kimi K, a 2.6 achieved 53.7%, while Gemini 3.1 Pro and Gemini 3 Flash scored 45.4% and 43.1% respectively. But Fusion changed the game. A combination of Fable 5 and GPT 5.5, with Claude Opus 4.8 acting as the synthesizer, reached 69%, outperforming every individual model in the benchmark, including Fable 5 itself. Even more interesting, OpenRouter discovered that running the same model multiple times and then synthesizing the results could significantly improve performance. Two separate runs of Claude Opus 4.8, combined through another Opus synthesis pass, achieved a score that was substantially higher than a single Opus run. This suggests that Fusion's advantage isn't only model diversity. A large part of its strength comes from the synthesis process itself. Different runs often discover different sources, follow different reasoning paths, and make different trade-offs. The synthesizer can then combine the best insights while filtering out weaknesses. The most surprising result came from Fusion's budget configuration. Using Gemini Flash, Kimi K 2.6, and DeepSeek V4 Pro as the research panel, with Opus 4.8 handling synthesis, Fusion achieved 64.7% on Draco, just 0.6 percentage points behind Fable 5's 65.3%. In other words, OpenRouter managed to get remarkably close to Fable-level performance at roughly half the cost. And in the world of large-scale AI deployments, that difference can translate into tens of thousands of dollars in monthly savings. For the last 2 years, the AI race has looked pretty simple. Build a bigger model, train it on more data, spend more money than everyone else, and hope your model becomes smarter than the competition. That strategy created giants. Companies like OpenAI, Anthropic, Google, Meta, and xAI have collectively spent tens of billions of dollars training increasingly powerful AI systems. The assumption was simple. The The future belongs to whoever builds the smartest single model. But what if that assumption is wrong? What if the next breakthrough in artificial intelligence isn't a bigger model at all? What if it's multiple models working together? That is exactly what OpenRouter is betting on with Fusion. And if the latest benchmark results are accurate, Fusion could represent one of the most important shifts in AI strategy we've seen all year. KuCoin. The end of the one supermodel era. Think about how humans solve difficult problems. A billion-dollar company doesn't hire one genius to do everything. It hires specialists, lawyers, researchers, engineers, designers, financial analysts. Each person contributes a different perspective. Then leadership combines all those perspectives into one final decision. For some reason, AI companies have spent years trying to do the exact opposite. They've been attempting to create a single model that can do everything.
Code.
Research.
Write.
Reason. Analyze.
Plan.
Create. And remember, the problem is that every model has blind spots. GPT might miss something Claude notices. Claude might overlook something Gemini finds. DeepSeek might uncover a source nobody else found. And that's where Fusion gets interesting. Instead of asking one AI for the answer, Fusion asks several. Then it compares their responses, identifies agreements, exposes contradictions, finds missing information, and builds a final answer using the strongest parts of every model. In other words, Fusion doesn't try to create a smarter model. It tries to create a smarter system. And that distinction could become extremely important. Why this matters right now? The timing couldn't be better. 2026 has become the year of AI agents. Every major company is racing toward autonomous systems capable of researching, planning, coding, and executing tasks without constant human supervision. OpenAI is pushing agent-based workflows. Anthropic continues expanding Claude's coding and reasoning capabilities. Google is integrating Gemini deeper into search, workspace, Android, and enterprise tools. Meanwhile, hundreds of startups are building autonomous AI workers on top of these foundation models. But there's a problem. As agents become more powerful, mistakes become more expensive. A chatbot making a mistake is annoying. An autonomous AI making a mistake can cost a company millions. Imagine an AI agent conducting market research. If it misses a critical piece of information, the entire strategy could be wrong. Imagine an AI coding assistant introducing a security flaw. Imagine a legal research system overlooking a regulation. The smarter AI becomes, the more costly blind spots become. Fusion directly attacks that problem. Instead of trusting one model's opinion, it forces models to challenge each other before the final answer is delivered. That's less like using a chatbot and more like running a board meeting. The AI industry is quietly moving in this direction. Here's something most people haven't noticed. The biggest breakthroughs in AI over the past year haven't come solely from larger models. They've come from better systems, reasoning models,
Tool use.
retrieval systems, web search, memory, agent frameworks, multi-agent architectures. The industry is slowly realizing that intelligence isn't only about model size. It's about orchestration. Fusion is part of that trend. Instead of spending another $10 billion training a larger model, companies may increasingly combine existing models into collaborative systems. That could dramatically reduce costs while improving reliability. And that matters because the economics of AI are becoming brutal. Training frontier models now costs hundreds of millions, or even billions of dollars. Inference costs remain a massive challenge. Companies serving millions of users every day are burning through enormous amounts of compute. Any system that can achieve near-frontier performance at significantly lower cost immediately gets attention. The benchmark result that shocked everyone. The most talked about result wasn't actually the best performing configuration. It was the cheapest one. A Fusion panel using Gemini Flash, Kimi K 2.6, and DeepSeek V4 Pro achieved performance surprisingly close to Fable 5, while costing roughly half as much. That should make every AI executive nervous. Because historically, smaller companies couldn't compete with the largest AI labs. They didn't have the GPUs. They didn't have the data. They didn't have the capital. But if a collection of cheaper models can rival a frontier model through intelligent orchestration, the competitive landscape changes dramatically. Suddenly, success depends less on who owns the biggest model and more on who builds the smartest workflow. Could this threaten OpenAI, Google, and Anthropic? Not immediately. The major AI labs still possess enormous advantages. They control the most advanced models. They have the largest research teams. They own the infrastructure. And they're already building similar multi-agent systems internally. But Fusion highlights something important. The future AI winner may not necessarily be the company with the single smartest model. It may be the company that best coordinates many models together. Think about cloud computing. The winners weren't necessarily the companies with the fastest individual servers. The winners built the best platforms. AI may be heading down a similar path. The battle could shift from model supremacy to orchestration supremacy. The one area where Fusion still falls short. There is one major challenge: long-horizon reasoning. This is where a model must maintain context across dozens or even hundreds of steps. Building software, managing large projects, analyzing massive documents, executing multi-day workflows. These tasks require consistent memory and planning. Fusion excels when multiple models can independently analyze the same question. But sequential work is harder. A single highly capable model still has advantages when every step depends on the previous step. That's why Fusion isn't a complete replacement for frontier models. At least not yet. The bigger story. The real story isn't that Fusion nearly matched Fable 5. The real story is that AI is evolving beyond individual models. We're entering an era where intelligence comes from collaboration. Not just human collaboration. Machine collaboration. Teams of AI systems working together. Specialized models debating each other. Agents coordinating with agents. Entire networks of artificial intelligence solving problems collectively. And if that trend continues, the biggest AI breakthrough of the next decade may not be GPT-6, Claude 6, Gemini 4, or any single model. It may be the moment AI stopped thinking alone and started thinking together.